What's up, guys? Victor here with a movie review for you guys. The other day ago, when Justice League came out, which was yesterday, Kristine and I went to the theater and we went and seen the first showing here in our town, which we absolutely loved it. She's working on another video, or she'd be helping me review this too, but I thought I would go ahead and share, basically what our thoughts were on the new Justice League movie and kind of review it for you guys, because it was awesome. Now, this video is going to have a lot of spoilers in it because I'm going to review the whole thing and talk about everything in it because it was a really cool movie. Me and Kristine both very much enjoy DC movies. It's just kind of our thing. We like Marvel, but we really enjoy going to DC because they don't make as many of them and they're really cool when they come out. And Justice League was kind of like a really pinnacle movie to see for DC. And I think the movie was awesome. It starts off with a kind of a Batman and Wonder Woman going to go find different new members of the Justice League, such as like Cyborg and Flash and Aquaman and stuff like that, which makes the movie really interesting because you kind of get to see little tidbits of each one of the back characters, like Flash's background story, just a little bit. You get to see a little bit of the Cyborg's backstory, just a little bit. Not the whole story, but just like little tidbits and little tastes along throughout the whole movie. Which is, for some people, you want more. But I think to keep the story going and make it more interesting for a general audience, this movie was awesome. Because it had a really good pace. Some people may say, hey, you know, it's got some stuff that's really weird in it, like not enough information on the background of characters, but I think they showed enough to get everybody going. Like, it shows kind of a little fight sequence in the beginning with Wonder Woman and kind of a guy that's going to blow up a whole building, and she stops it, and, you know, she does her Wonder Woman thing, and a little bit of it in the trailers, but they, you know, in the movie you get to see the whole thing, which was a really cool fight. And I really like that about DC. They kind of show a real brutal, like, hardcore kind of real life type fighting, and I like that a lot more in like my comic book movies. You get Batman kind of coming around, and he's trying to find Aquaman, and Aquaman's like this rough, tough kind of actor, Jason Momoa, like you may know him from Game of Thrones, which is really cool to get him as Aquaman, because he's kind of like bringing that powerhouse restart to Aquaman, because most people think Aquaman's just this lame guy that talks to fish. But Aquaman in this movie is really kind of like the mysterious figure in the corner. He does a lot of cool, like, kind of brooding scenes, but he's really awesome, and he's really talkative when he wants to be. And you get to see highlights of Atlantis, like, and his wife Mira. You get to see her just in a little bit. You just get to see a hint of Atlantis, and just a little bit of, like, the backstory with the mother box, because the whole point of the movie is there's 3 mother boxes. One was given to the Atlanteans, one was given to Wonder Woman's people, and the other one was given to men. So the whole point is Steppenwolf has to gather them together to create, like, kind of a portal to, get some of the bad guys back on planet Earth. So the whole point was really cool. I really like the story like that. And you get to see it all connected that way. You know, you get to bring Wonder Woman's island of Amazons, and you get to see the whole Atlantean world just for a little bit, like, because the whole movie's got to keep going at a certain pace, and that may bother some people because, you know, that's just the way that goes. But, you know, let me know in the comments below what you guys, if you've seen it, what you guys thought about it compared to, like, a Marvel movie. I mean, a lot of people have complained about, like, the Batman vs. Superman movie was not as interesting as, like, a Marvel movie because it was kind of a more story-driven kind of movie, whereas Marvel movies are more, action-paced, sort of like this one was. It was more like, maybe not so much in-depth, but it just kind of keeps the story moving, which I think is okay if you want to do it to a general audience. I'm okay with either one. I like superhero movies all the way through, both sides, so it really doesn't matter to me, but I really like this one because I really like seeing, like, the kind of like the team interactions between, like, Flash and Batman, and then you have, like, interactions between Wonder Woman and Batman, Batman and Cyborg, Cyborg and Flash, and they all kind of like when it comes to the pinnacle, which the great reveal in this, which really isn't a great reveal because it's been in trailers and stuff, but the great reveal in this movie is that Superman returns from the death, or from his death from the last movie, which in the comic books, that's how this kind of goes along. If you read the comic books, Superman was killed by Doomsday and then comes back to life. And I really like the story. It may not be exactly the way they did it in the comic books, but I really like the way they kept the story going. It was like a whole team effort. Batman had to get the whole team together, and when they finally got the team together, they got one of the mother boxes that Cyborg had in the Star Labs place, and that technically created him and gave him all his powers. And they get together, and then they kind of go and actually like rejuvenate Superman in the crashed Kryptonian ship, like Doomsday. Getting all my comic book characters confused there. But they go to the same place where Doomsday was created and put Superman in the rejuvenation thing, and the mother box power with Flash's electricity brings Superman back to life. But when Superman comes back to life, the twist at the beginning there is that Superman is kind of confused and very angry that he died in the last movie and doesn't really trust Batman because Batman kind of really beat him up in the last movie. So he's kind of really violent against the whole team for a minute, but it's a really cool fight sequence. They have really awesome kind of, like, it shows the power of Superman and the Flash, like how fast the Flash is and how powerful Superman is when he's angry, which Superman has to be kind of corralled for a minute. The only way to calm him down is Batman calls Lois Lane to come calm him down, and he kind of chills out, and he's like, I gotta get out of here for a minute, and so he flies off with Lois Lane to go kind of cool off for a minute and realize that he's alive, while the Justice League kind of gets their stuff together and realizes that they have to go to Russia and separate all the mother boxes from the bad guy, because he eventually takes everyone's mother box, like the Atlanteans one, the Wonder Woman's Amazonian women's box. He takes them. He takes the one from Cyborg in them, and so he's got all the boxes, and Superman's off being like kind of mopey because he just got brought back from the dead, not the death. And so they're all, really excited that Superman's back, but he's kind of crazy in the minute. So they have to kind of form the team together without Superman at the beginning. And they go to Russia, and they kind of start fighting all these demons, and Batman kind of shows how powerful he is, because he's kind of like, he's technically their leader in this movie, and he starts like battling off, and they get really like their spirits up, and they start going in there and they start fighting with all the parademons, and Batman breaks free, and then all the superhumans like Flash and Cyborg's the only one that can separate the boxes, him and Superman, because they're the only ones powerful enough to like separate the actual power forces between them. And I really like that fight because Superman shows up and he just like knocks Steppenwolf out, like he just completely, like, it's a big fight. Doesn't really take much for Superman to beat this guy, but he's really kind of cunning, and Aquaman does some really cool stuff with his trident, and Wonder Woman's fighting him, and they all kind of like meet up at this one high pinnacle point, and I really like the chemistry between Flash and Superman, because they kind of like have this whole scene where Superman saves like a whole building of people, while Flash can only like manage to save like one truckload of people, but they were all happy because they saved civilians, which is really cool. I thought that was a really funny part in the whole movie. And then they just kind of have this really good sense, because in the end, like, they destroy the super weapon and separate the boxes, and that stops the portal, and it kind of stops the bad guy. But the cool part about that is once they stop the weapon on Steppenwolf, it actually breaks, and he's scared of the Justice League, which causes all the parademons to actually just eat him and like just kill him that way. And I thought that was like probably one of the coolest things ever, because they didn't really actually have to do it. They just had to make him be so afraid that he kind of just kind of got destroyed by his own evil villains, which I thought that was a really cool twist. Overall, I think the movie is definitely worth seeing. If you like superhero movies, I think it's great. I really like the end credits, because at the end, we finally got Superman's back, and they kind of have like this, after the end credits, they have Superman versus the Flash, which they don't show the Victor, but they have this really cool, like, Flash tries to fly, or I mean, the Flash tries to beat Superman at a race to the Pacific Coast, which is really funny. And then there were some other little end credit scenes at the end, like, you had Lex Luthor finally gets, or actually breaks out of prison, and we finally get to see Deathstroke, and they're gonna form their own league, which is really cool because it's kind of like a DC thing. Like Lex Luthor is like his own group, like the Legion of Doom, and I think that's really cool. I think they did a really good job with this movie. I hope I covered just the general of the whole movie with a few spoilers. Well, pretty much the whole movie, or this whole video is going to be a spoiler. But let me know what you guys thought about this movie, because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. I really thought it had a lot of action in it, and to me, I think they did a really great job. I'm not going to be nitpicky about it because I really like DC, and I think that they just kind of need a boost right now because they just kind of need that, and I think that's really cool that they're actually making movies and stuff like the Avengers and Justice League and stuff like that, so I think that's really cool. But be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you've seen the movie, what you guys thought about it, and be sure to leave all that in the comments below. And let me know if there's any other movies you'd like to hear me talk about or discuss or review. But leave that in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.